Opening day of Archery Elk season 2017. Got about an hour till daylight. I'm gonna stop by the cabin, drop all our stuff off, get everything set up, and hopefully go kill a couple elk. Well, so far we got bulls all around us. It's pretty cool. There's 3 or 4 different canyons, and we got bulls all 4 canyons bugling back and forth. A couple small satellite bulls, and a couple big herd bulls. So far we haven't seen any cows or any spikes, but we'll see how it goes. Opening day, didn't see a whole lot other than some bulls, some pretty decent 6-point bulls running around, some satellite bulls, and really that's all we seen. We didn't see any cows or spikes that we could go after. So Eric, at the end of the day, about 45 minutes before dark, we heard on the radio that Eric was getting into some elk kind of a few canyons away, and so he shot one right at dark and he backed out. You know, he thought he hit it a little far back, so he backed out and we all went up to the cabin, and you know, he went over his whole hunt with us and showed us all the cool details. And he went back in the morning and located his cow. She was obviously had expired, and so he called us on the radio, and we were chasing a mule deer buck at the time, trying to get Aaron on a mule deer buck, but that didn't pan out. So we went and helped him pack his cow out, and then we actually decided to go down for the midday. We had to get some more ice and some more water and everything. So Aaron and I took separate rigs and went to town, and we were in town pretty much all day, midday, and we came back, decided we were going to come back up about 3:30, and Aaron got caught up in town, so I took off by myself, and he was going to follow me up and meet up with me later. And so I get going up there and see a big bull off the road a little ways down in a canyon. We nicknamed it the Hell Hole, but a pretty steep canyon. So I see this big bull down in there, and I figure, he's got to have cows with him. So sneak around, get around on top of him, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do, figure out the wind and everything, how I'm going to make my move. But this time Aaron shows up, and he gets across the canyon, and he starts looking at him, and we start going over, what our game plan is. So we decide that the best plan, is for me to come down on top of them, and the way the wind was blowing and the way they were headed, that if I came down on top of them and a little bit down canyon, that they might feed underneath me. So I start working my way down this ridge line, and Aaron said that he comes across the radio and says that, yeah, there's a cow off by itself, and she's quite a bit lower than the rest of them, and kind of working its way towards the open hillside. And so we both, were thinking, great, she's going to come out, and she's going to be by herself, and she's going to come out on the open hillside below me, and I'm going to, have a pretty good chance of getting a shot at her. And so I start, we kind of leave the herd where they are and change direction, and I started going straight down the ridge, and I get 15 steps farther, and Aaron talking to me in my ear the whole time, and Aaron goes, hey, he goes, it's off by itself because it's a legal spike. He goes, I didn't look at it very close at first, but it's a legal spike. And he goes, so that's why it's off by itself, and we need to go after this thing. And so I start working my way down, and he goes, so this spike's gonna come out like 70 yards below you. And he goes, it's coming out, like in less than a minute. He goes, it's working its way towards the open hillside. He goes, you need to get down and get lower. And so I'm scooting my way down the hill, trying to be super quiet, and he goes, hey, he's gonna come out in like 30 seconds, but I think he's gonna be out of range. And at that time, I start hearing the brush moving down below me, and I can hear the spike coming out. And so I get ready, and I knew that just by the way I could hear, where he was at, I could hear he was gonna be closer than 70 yards. And so I get my rangefinder out, and I'm starting to range spots on the hill, but my rangefinder wasn't picking anything up because there was no rocks, there was no brush, it was just straight, yellow grass. And so I'm trying to range, and all of a sudden this spike steps out, and he takes about 5 steps out on the open hillside, and he stops, and he's looking away from me, and I'm ranging him, and my hands are shaking so bad, I was just a mess, and I'm shaking so bad I can hardly range him. And my rangefinder's reading 49, 51, 52, 50. And so I thought, all right, shoot for 50. And so I start getting ready, and I'm just about to start to draw, and he turns and he looks right at me. And we locked eyes for a minute, and he's just staring at me. And I thought, it's now or never, if, he's gonna bust here in a few seconds. And so I just pulled back, full draw, and let her fly. And there was a pretty good whack, and I knew I hit him, and he spun a 180 and went into the trees. And Aaron's watching him through the spotting scope, and he went into the trees, and he stood there for about 15 minutes, and then I'll let you see the rest.
this is crazy. I don't even know what to say. Oh my God, he came out 47 yards on my knees. He looked right at me. I drew back slow, and Aaron says I drilled out. It's been an hour and a half since I shot, and I look back on it. I think that Aaron said he sees an exit wound, and I know he's hit, but I think he might be hit a little far back and a little high. So I'm gonna back out, and we're gonna come back first thing in the morning. Last thing I want to do is bump him 3 or 4 times and move him. So I'm just gonna hope that he beds down and hope that he dies quickly. I felt really good about the shot, but I went down to where he was standing when I shot, and no blood and no arrow. So Aaron, he's pretty sure we carried the arrow with him for a ways. So hopefully, he dies quick and